Taped from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerd, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out over Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
And I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
Darren!
John!
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How was your Thanksgiving, man?
It was all right, low-key.
Low-key.
Didn't do much. How was yours?
Oh, it's good. Spent it with some family. Ate some turkey and some lasagna there, and ham, and vegetables. Some cookies. I had some cookies.
Okay.
Had some pot roast. Had some yams.
All right.
Some pie.
Okay.
Apple, blueberry, and sweet potato.
Oh, my. Yeah, that's a lot of pies.
Had some drinks.
Okay.
Had some wine.
That's good, yeah.
Potatoes.
Potatoes, yeah. All right.
Mac and cheese.
Wow, okay.
And, yeah, that's it. And a salad, too. I'm trying to watch,
Sure.
trying to watch my weight.
Yeah. You want to keep that girlish figure.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know. That diet starts Monday. But yeah. So, and that was it. Nothing too crazy.
Right.
Just the norm.
So yeah, very very restrained.
Yes.
Thanksgiving didn't eat a whole lot.
No. Oh, and collard greens. I had them collard.
Oh
greens.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because health kick.
Sure.
You
Sure.
You need some roughage. But yeah, that's it. Nothing too crazy to report.
Okay.
Cool. Stayed away from Black Friday, of course. I never was one of those people that got into that, really.
Oh, going out to the stores. And all that.
And fighting mobs of people to get like $2 off a toaster oven or something. Like, why?
I'm not.
Don't do that, people.
I'm not one of those people.
Yeah.
Like one of my local comic shops was having a sale. Dewey's Comic City over in Madison. I went over there.
Hey.
Got some stuff.
Nice.
And
support small businesses.
But that was for me.
Yeah, that's for you.
That was for me.
You didn't have to push anybody out the way or knock over a...
I didn't have to. I did anyway. But
you just did that for your own...
I just did that for my own sick pleasure.
This is for me.
I just walked in. I was like, "Get out of my way, you!" Slammed him. And, yeah.
You gotta show him who's boss.
That's right. That's right. I tossed him out of the store. They yelled out a Wilhelm scream and
Yahoo!
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, you gotta be the bully of the comic book shop.
Exactly. It's the one place where I can feel superior to somebody.
Yeah, you walk into the place, Bad to the Bone starts playing. The day I was born.
And speaking of badass motherfuckers.
Whoa, look at that. Did you segue like that?
I know. This is not my first segue. We are covering this week. We're preparing for Eddie Murphy's upcoming hosting on Saturday Night Live.
Right. Today was an off week, so we went.
We said we should do an Eddie Murphy movie. What should we do? We've done Trading Places. Should we do Beverly Hills Cop? Should we do 48 Hours?
Right.
But you suggested let's do
something more newer.
Yeah.
More modern.
Something current.
Yeah.
Something that is only a month old.
Still in the zeitgeist.
We are doing Dolemite Is My Name.
Pow!
Which is from 2019. It had a limited theatrical release.
In October 4th.
Yeah, October 4th. But it is on Netflix. It is on Netflix currently as we are recording this. I just finished watching it an hour ago.
Right.
So
fresh takes abound.
Fresh in my mind.
Yeah, so I did. Dolemite Is My Name, a movie written by Scott Alexander and Larry Kraszewski. And they're no strangers to the biopic game because they've also written People vs. Larry Flint, Ed Wood, which you mentioned, and a movie we may need to think about talking about in the future, the Andy Kaufman film, Man on the Moon.
Yeah, that hits on Saturday Night Live. That would be a good one for us to cover at some point.
Yeah, they actually do recreate that whole that Mighty Mouse, legendary
from the very first episode.
Yeah, and I was watching a clip of that online, and I saw Lorne was in it. He was playing a younger version of himself.
Yeah, and it's
Lorne's never in movies. What's this?
Well, and it's interesting because Lorne is there when they vote Andy Kaufman off the show, but Lorne wasn't on SNL then. He wasn't involved with the show. So in a weird way, he's taking responsibility for something he did not do.
That's classic Lorne.
But let's not go on a whole Man on the Moon tangent.
Yeah, we'll save that for later. Oh, and also the film was directed by Craig Brewer, who did Hustle and Flow, Black Snake Moan, and he's directing now the upcoming Coming to America sequel.
Oh, that's interesting. That's
yeah.
very cool. I don't think I've seen any of Craig Brewer's films before, but definitely a fan of Scott Alexander and Larry Kraszewski.
Is that how you say it?
I don't know. I'm taking my best guess.
Okay.
I haven't heard his name spoken aloud much, but I'm a fan of it. They also did Big Eyes, the film about Margaret Keane that Tim Burton directed.
Oh, that's right.
And they were also involved with the series American Crime Story. They did the the first season that was about the O.J. Simpson trial.
Oh, okay.
I got sucked into that when that came out a few years ago.
Really?
And I was not somebody who like followed the O.J. trial real closely or anything, but that was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was like in high school or maybe junior. I forget when. But like, I still remember like the OJ trial was a big thing.
It was, deal. And people were like really caught up in it, and I didn't really get into that. But I mean, it was omnipresent at the time. But the like, TV series was so great.
Yeah, like I remember people were telling me like, oh, you're like they would bring in the TV into like people's in your classroom, like when the car chase was happening. I kind of remember that, like, or not the car chase, but like when the verdict happened. Yeah. I remember, like, our teacher would be like, "All right, students, let's watch this verdict," and like bringing the TV in. Like I remember that either people were watching at work, and it was like, my God, like the whole country was. Just
I didn't watch the verdict live. How did people react when they watched the verdict live?
It depends on who you were. Like, some people were elated, some people not so happy.
Okay.
And let's leave it at that.
All right. So, divided classroom.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you have like a class debate after that?
I don't remember if we did. We might have, but I mean, I don't know if there was any like you will not replace us people in my classroom back then. But like, there might have been people who were maybe a little upset and grew up to vote for our president now. So.
Yeah,
it all comes full circle.
But let's get into like talking about Dolemite is my name. This is about like a famous blaxploitation film, Dolemite.
Right, and character Rudy Ray Moore playing by Dolemite. Actually, did you before you saw this movie, did you know anything about Rudy Ray Moore or Dolemite?
I had heard of Dolemite. I've never seen Dolemite, and I don't think I'd really heard of Rudy Ray Moore before. So I just knew. I knew the name Dolemite, and I knew it was like a famous blaxploitation film, and that was probably about the extent of my knowledge.
Okay. See, I knew about Rudy Ray Moore just through hip-hop. Because, like, I'm a big hip-hop head, as some of you may know.
Yeah.
And, like, if you listen to, like, a lot of hip-hop from, like, especially from the 90s, he gets, like, shouted out, and a lot of, his stuff gets sampled, or he himself was on, like, a lot of hip-hop records. Like, he was on Big Daddy Kane stuff, he was on Busta Rhymes, Snoop Dogg totally shouted him out, 2 Live Crew. He was on an episode of Martin.
Because he did a lot of this rhyming stuff, and he's called like the godfather of rap, I understand.
Yeah, like the way his kind of rhymes and flows were, the way his act, it was a lot of like people younger kind of looked up to him and kind of took that and just kind of did it to a beat, and it kind of, he definitely influenced the way like a lot of people rap and stuff. You can even listen, you can even hear it on the song "Nothing But a G Thing," the Dr. Dre Snoop Dogg song. Like Snoop shouts him out in a lyric. Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, here it goes. Showing much flex when it's time to wreck a mic, pimping hoes and clocking a grip like my name was Dolemite.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And like pretty much the first thing you see in this movie is Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
And I was like, and my first note was like, oh, unexpected Snoop Dogg. I had no idea he was going to be in this movie.
Unexpected Snoop Dogg.
And he's playing a DJ who's working in the back of a record shop. And Eddie Murphy is Rudy Ray Moore, who's an assistant manager at this record shop.
Right.
And he's trying to get the records he's really into playing on Snoop's show. But Snoop is like, no, I just play the hits.
Yeah, and that shows you where you are at your life, where you're the assistant manager in a record store, and the DJ who works for the record store won't play your shit.
Yeah.
And
he was like, "Look, do you think this is what I want to do? I mean, we did not make good choices in our lives. We had our shots, and we didn't make it." And I was like, "Oh wow, that's
shit gets real."
Yeah.
But there's some truth to that, because like in the start of the movie, Rudy Ray Moore, he's in his I believe he's like in his late 40s when at this point, and he was trying to be like a all around entertainer, like singer, comedian, like a Sammy Davis Jr. type,
right?
And just none of it panned out. So now he's just like flat broke, working in a record store, and he's just like very despondent. And he also has a side job. He MCs at a club, opening up for his friend's band, Ben Taylor, played by Craig Robinson.
Who I enjoy. I find Craig Robinson entertaining.
Craig Robinson's good stuff.
You know Craig Robinson from The Office and from Hot Tub Time Machine. What else? He pops up in all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, he does a ton of stuff.
Yeah, I enjoy seeing Craig Robinson pop up. Oh, before we get too deep into this, we should mention or I want to mention, the movie is rated R for pervasive language, crude sexual content, and graphic nudity. I see this like at the top of my screen as I queue it up on Netflix, and I was like, "Oh, well, we're in for a ride."
Yeah, put the kids to bed.
So, so this is interesting. So we learn like where Rudy Ray Moore is in his life, and he's emceeing the show, and he's doing his jokes, and he does okay. He doesn't.
Yeah,
no
one cares.
He's not really exciting anyone.
Yeah, people are like talking over him, which as a comedian, kind of that hits too close to home for me.
I was so amused by the manager of the club lighting him with a flashlight.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, before cell phones.
Because now, what they do in stand-up comedy, in case you don't know, is when you're getting towards the end of your allotted time, they give you the light. And what they do now is they will hold up their cell phone in the back of the club. You see the light shining from the cell phone in the dark of the room, and then you're like, oh, gee, okay, I better wrap it up. And you can tell the people, like, oh, just light me at a minute, light me at 2 minutes, or whatever you want it to be, and then you will wrap it up. And it's considered a faux pas to go over your time.
You don't want to run the light or blow the light.
Right.
That's a no-no.
Yeah, because then you're taking time away from the other comedians, and you're showing that you don't really care about the other people on the show.
Yeah. We know a few people that have done that, but we're not going to name names.
I know people who have blatantly done that. And yeah. We'll talk off air. We'll sling the dirt then.
Dish.
but yeah, and Rudy, like, he runs his time a little bit, and he's getting some grief over that.
Yeah, and he's just at this point in his life where it's like he's not doing what he wants. He's not making the money. He's very despondent at this point.
Yeah.
So then, I think at one point, like, he hangs out with his friends after the show. His friends, Tony, who works with him at the record store, played by Titus Burgess from Kimmy Schmidt. And comedian Mike Epps, who plays Jimmy.
Yeah,
and he has this really good monologue where it's like how did I get to this point in my life? Like, this job at the record store was supposed to be like my only, like, my part-time thing.
This was supposed to be my day job.
Yeah, and now it's the only.
And now
thing.
It's become my main source of income, and it's just like, oh God, this speaks to me.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough out here in these streets.
Yeah.
So he's very despondent. And then one day, he's working in the record store, and the local wino, the local drunk, Rico, comes in, and he kind of drunkenly tells these stories about this character Dolemite, who I guess he's basically like kind of like folklore or urban myth, like, and it's like these kind of street jokes. Poetry he's trying to tell to all these people.
And it's this old guy with no teeth.
Yes, played by Ron Cephas Jones, who's on This Is Us.
Oh.
And and he tells all these people about Dolemite's a bad motherfucker, and like he tells all these kind of spins these yarns, and of course Rudy just trying to get him out of the store because he smells like pee and he just wants money.
Right.
So, but like he notices that the people kind of enjoying these stories they hear.
People are responding to the stories.
Yeah. Because apparently these stories, like, people have kind of heard before in their childhood. I guess these are like old street jokes. So then Rudy kind of gets the idea, well, maybe, what would you think if he just thinks like, oh, maybe I should just take these jokes and maybe create a character around them and make some joke around them. Maybe I could be the Dolemite character he talks about.
So he tracks down Rico, and he finds him on the street, and he brings like a big tape recorder. It's the 70s, so he's got like this big tape recorder, and he's like, I got some hooch, I got some money.
That's right.
I want you guys to tell me all your stories.
That's all I need to be bought.
And he records these guys just telling their stories, and then we cut to Ray back in his apartment. He's writing all this stuff down,
and he's punching it up. And
he's crafting jokes out of it. He's crafting materials, and he's doing the rhyming thing.
Yeah. And
I didn't write down any examples of the rhyming. Did you get any of that, or no?
Shoot, I wish I did. But
okay.
No, I didn't.
No, it's fine.
It's rhyming stuff. Rhymes, people.
Yeah, it's they say a word and then they say another word that sounds kind of like that word, but it's a little different in the beginning. But at the end, they're the same. So we call that rhyming.
Rhymes.
Yes.
Yeah, but in this case, it's a lot of filthy, rhymes with
right
phallics involved in private parts.
Yes.
So yes.
Yes. That was the most Caucasian explanation.
My mom could be listening, man.
Yeah.
Crying out loud. Well, good boy. All right, so then he creates this character Dolemite. He gets like this old Afro wig he has out of storage, and he kind of puts that on, and he has these old tuxedos from his days as a background singer.
He's got these big ostentatious suits. Big, colorful.
A couple of those, I was like,
you want to get a new look?
Not too shabby. All right.
Yeah. And he goes back to the club and he's like, hey, I'm going to try some new stuff. And the manager of the club's like, no, you look like a pimp. Just do your old stuff. Do your usual stuff. Do the stuff that works. This show isn't about you. You're just emceeing.
Right.
You're just introing the acts.
Right. And then he doesn't do that, and he goes into the thing and like, way down in the jungle deep. And then he tells this kind of perverse story about like, I don't know, like a monkey, like an elephant stepping on a monkey's foot or something. And it gets really kind of weird, but it's also very engaging. The people get really into it.
It's like an instant hit. He's killing with the audience. The audience is laughing.
Right. It's just like over the top, perverse kind of sexual stories, and people are like really into it.
And the first time he tells a punchline, the drummer at the club, he does the usual thing where he gives them the rim shot, and then Rudy immediately turns and he's like, "Don't give me that Buddy Hackett shit." Give me some. Give me a beat, and he gets on the bongos and
taking shots at Buddy Hackett.
Yeah,
wow.
I know.
But yeah, and it starts to. He knows, this is something. This could be something. So then after that, he. Excuse me. I mean, the next thing he wants to do is like, maybe I should record this and put an album out.
Right.
So then he goes to his auntie, played by Lunel, famous comedian, borrows some money from her after she got some money in some settlement after like falling off a bus, she said, or getting hit by a bus.
Right, as you do.
Yeah, something bus related.
Right.
So he got the money from her, and he recorded this party album in somebody's apartment, which is pretty ingenious. I that's the thing I kind of appreciate about Rudy Ray Moore, his kind of ingenuity.
Yeah,
trying to
he was a do-it-yourselfer.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, as comedians, both of us, we can, we kind of relate to that.
Well, he made his own niche. He found his spot, and that's amazing, and that's wonderful to see that happen.
Yeah. So he invited a bunch of people over. He did a show. He got everybody drunk, and they recorded it, and he tried to sell it, and lo and behold, nobody would put it out because it's incredibly filthy.
Right, and this is like the early 70s, and it's still, controversial. They're like, you can't play this on the radio. You can't. I mean, there are like blue state laws,
right?
Or, whatever. And so he starts selling it on the down low at his record shop.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like he went to a few people, they wouldn't put it out, and then they were like, all right, fuck it, I'll just put it out myself. And then he, just like you said, like he starts selling it in his record shop. He starts selling it out of the back of cars,
the trunk of his car.
He does it
at shows.
At shows, and he does this thing where he has like the stamp of a devil on it.
Yeah,
and they ask, what's this stamp of a devil on it? And Rudy says, this is. It makes it look like it's naughty. It's like nothing you're supposed to
forbidden.
have.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a brown paper wrapper and then just that devil stamp on top, and that's how he sells it. There's no cover to the album yet.
Right.
But,
it's like basically like before the parental advisory stickers.
Right.
And I mean, that does work. People see that devil, it's like, this is the raw shit.
Yeah. Everyone wants to feel like they're in on something new and dangerous, and
that is very true.
Yeah.
So sure enough, like. He sells a good amount of the albums, and there's a buzz out there over these albums. And I believe after that he was what was it?
Well, he's like approached by a record company.
Yes, he was approached by a record company, and because like one of them finds out, this stuff's playing all over. We should get in on this. And
this could blow up. This could be a thing.
Right. Exactly.
It's like the people at the label. Their job is to spot the next trend, and they're like, this could be something. This could. This comedy thing, this could take off.
Yeah, so of course Rudy signs with them, and he puts out his album "Eat Out More Often."
Yeah, and they showed them shooting the cover for it, and the cover. How do we describe the cover? He's got a lady on a couch.
Yeah,
she's got a bowl of fruit.
Yeah.
And Rudy Ray Moore is behind her.
The lady is not clothed.
She is not clothed. She's got like a blanket over her, or they put.
I think it might be off.
Yeah, I can't remember.
My eyes were covered. I was like, oh,
yeah, I was fanning myself, and I got my smelling salts. And,
I fainted. I was like,
it's a young lady in a state of undress, and she's holding the bowl of fruit like on her lap,
as you do,
and Rudy Ray Moore is behind the couch, and he's
buck-ass naked
and
too.
They've got like labels over the naughty bits and stuff, but it looks very controversial and looks very
raw. Like
it's edgy.
It's like a 2 Live Crew album.
Yeah, exactly.
So based on that, and then that album sells pretty well too, and then they figure, maybe I should go on tour. So then Rudy starts playing the Chitlin circuit. Like he just gets a car, drives to like Mississippi and Georgia, and he does all these shows everywhere. Like, and tells his stories, and he tells like kind of like snaps. And cause I did write one that was funny. He's like, dude's so dumb. He turned down a blowjob because he thought it would mess around with his unemployment check or something like that. Y'all ready for this? And and he starts to gain an audience. Like he hustles. He starts to grow an audience. And then on one of his shows, he meets this woman, Lady Reed, played by Divine Joyce Randolph. He meets her out on the road, and she's like a fuller-sized woman, we'll say.
And he sees her, and she's like getting into a fight with a guy.
Her husband or boyfriend, because the husband or boyfriend, he's with another woman.
Right.
And she's like, what is this?
And I forget who hit one first, but I think he hit her, and then she hits him back.
Yeah,
and she's wailing on him.
Yeah, and Rudy sees all this goes down. He's like, goddamn,
and he's like, oh well, this is something here.
Yeah. And so then after the show, he strikes up this conversation with Lady Reed, and she's very despondent. It's like, we got a kid, and he's out here sleeping with all these these trollops,
these young skanks.
Whoa,
he's stepping out on her.
Yeah, he's a skank. That's just rude.
He doesn't recognize the good loving he's getting at home.
That is true. But yeah, so then he's like Lady Reed and Rudy start talking, and sure enough, Rudy's like, well, why don't you do some shows with me? You seem to you got some spark in you.
Yeah.
So, and sure enough, like she kind of sings and tells jokes with him and she goes on tour with him.
She creates her own character. Like she doesn't realize that the extent that Dolemite is a character because Rudy's got the fake afro.
Right.
And he's like, no, pull on my hair. And she realizes it's a wig, and he kind of convinces her, no, you don't have to be 100% yourself on stage. You can be this character. You can be like me and recreate yourself into like this larger than life character.
Yeah, I mean it still happens today. I mean like Larry the Cable Guy and like Andrew Dice Clay, like
Yeah.
But I mean Rudy was doing that before all of those guys.
Yeah,
which is interesting. So so she goes under the name Queen Bee, I believe, right? And
that sounds right.
Yeah, and then they go on tour and she kind of becomes his protege, and and then it looks like things are really starting to take off for Rudy.
Yeah, and we have like sort of this. You run into this thing in biopics a lot where it's like you see them succeed and we have to like compress the event, so it seems like it's like really really easy to succeed.
Like, all this took a week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I mean they have to compress this stuff, so it seems like we tried this one thing and then it's skyrocket to the stars,
straight to the moon. Alice.
Like a little later, we see like some more of the struggle, but but early on, it seems like it's like once you have that idea, it's just that's it.
It's very true. And then also, as it turns out, his album makes the charts. It gets on the chart.
It gets on the Billboard chart.
Yeah,
like it's on there with a bullet, which means it's like rising very fast. And
right. So it's like, oh wow, so things are starting to happen. So things are looking up for.
And then they were like, you got to get back here and record some more albums.
Right.
And then they have a montage of his other albums, and they showed at least 4 or 5 other albums. I don't know how many albums he did altogether. Do you know how many?
Not off the top of my head.
I didn't put up a Wikipedia entry of Rudy Ray Moore. Let me, give me a minute. I'll get him up on the screen.
All right. I know that the other album titles were also pretty full of double entendre and pretty funny too.
All right, we got Dolemite Records and wider acclaim discography. Oh my goodness, look at all this.
How many albums did he put out?
I don't. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like 7 albums, and then I'm assuming a lot of them are repackaging.
Oh wow,
his stuff.
dude's like Tom Waits over here.
Yeah, his first album was Below the Belt in 1959 and 62.
Oh, that might be a song because he was a singer before.
All right. Okay, Eat Out More Often was 1970.
Okay.
Then apparently later, 1970, there was This Pussy Belongs to Me.
Ooh.
And 72 we had Dolemite for President.
Okay.
We don't have years for the other albums on the Wikipedia entry, but yeah. So.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a.
So he did quite well for himself.
He did all right. But I mean, it's all kind of underground too, because like I don't think the mainstream people know about him, but like his.
You mean the white people?
Ah.
Well, no, because I mean, yeah, he becomes like this thing in black culture, and
exactly. So so he's riding high now. So he gets his friends together, Jimmy and Ben and Tony from the shop, and he's like, I feel good today. Let's go watch a movie. Let's go watch a comedy. And then they say like, oh, let's go see Blackula or something like that.
Like it was a black vampire thing or something like that, and he's like, no, I want to laugh. I want to see a comedy. Let's go see The Front Page. And they see the remake of The Front Page that Jack Lemmon did with Walter Matthau, and this was in the 70s.
Yeah, Billy Wilder movie.
And it was Billy Wilder, who directed it.
When he said The Front Page, I was like, what? I haven't even seen that movie, but I was like...
I know it's not regarded as the classic that the original version of they've remade The Front Page a few times.
Oh, did they?
I know one of the remakes was His Girl Friday, which is like a comedy classic.
Oh, okay.
But The Front Page, I believe it was a play, and it was originally 2 guys. And for His Girl Friday, they made one of the male parts into a woman, and they made it into a romance.
Huh.
Like sort of it was the romantic comedy of its day. But the Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau version, they went back to the original version, and it was 2 guys. And I don't think that movie did too well. But we see them in the theaters, and it's a theater full of people laughing. You know, it's a mostly white audience.
And they're like, what?
And Rudy and his friends, they just don't. It doesn't speak to them at all. They don't get it. It's not their thing, and they're like, well, why is everybody laughing? What the hell? And then they walk out of the movie, and he's like, what kind of movie was that? There's no titties, there's no funny, and there's no kung fu.
I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. There probably was not any titties or kung fu in The Front Page with Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau.
They missed a golden opportunity there.
I find I've seen a few Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon movies, and I find that they are rather low on the titties and the kung fu.
I mean, I guess that's just part of the time. I don't know. It's just
there is some nudity in Buddy Buddy. I remember seeing the movie Buddy Buddy as a kid,
but no kung fu.
I don't remember them ever doing any kung fu.
Yes, you need that. It's a magical formula.
They didn't have any kung fu in Grumpy Old Men, did they?
I'd have to go back and watch.
They should have had kung fu.
In Grumpy Old Man.
Just a big kung fu fight with Burgess Meredith and Anne Margaret and Sophia Loren.
Oh, now you're cooking.
Come on.
I mean, my God. Now you're cooking. Oh, Burgess Meredith giving the old hi-ya?
Yeah.
Woo.
I mean, that's the dream.
And the Oscar goes
to. He had fighting experience from the Batman show.
Yeah.
He could throw a punch and then a sound effect appears in the air in front of him.
Pow.
Yeah.
Bop. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me you wouldn't watch that movie.
I would. I'd buy the Blu-ray right now.
I'm just saying that Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon should have done more kung fu in their movies.
Missed opportunity.
It's just sad that they're no longer with us, and we will never see that happen.
Breaks my heart.
But someday we'll do a biopic of Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon, and we'll put in the kung fu fights.
Kung Fu Masters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
You have my money.
Just a straight remake of Enter the Dragon, only with Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon. But
this could sell. We shouldn't even be saying this in microphones.
We should. This is $1 million idea right here.
Somebody's going to take it.
Yeah.
And then we'll be out on the street with no money. Wait.
Pretty much where we are now.
Oh.
Yeah.
You didn't have to remind me of that.
But anyway, so Rudy decides he decides I'm going to make a movie. I'm going to make a movie that we want to see. With titties and kung fu and funny and so he goes and gets a writer. He hooks up with this writer Jerry Jones, played by Keegan-Michael Key,
right?
From Key and Peele and Mad TV and
Right.
And
Well, I mean, actually, I think before that, he was
Yeah.
trying to pitch the idea to a bunch of people, but then like no one really wanted to.
They don't go for it.
Yeah, because because he has like a following, he has an audience, and the first person he goes to was Walter Crane, who played by T.I., the rapper T.I.
Oh, right.
And he's saying, I want to have this movie from the streets for people, like and they're like, no, we don't do that. We got we're trying to do uplifting black movies. Like we have this movie coming out called Cornbread Earl and Me. What do you think of that? And then Rudy just looks at me in the eye and says, "Hey man, don't nobody want to see that shit." I don't know why that made me laugh. Nobody want. So then
nobody want to see that shit.
Yeah. So then he figures, all right. Well, if the people don't want it, then maybe I'll just do it myself. And so then he, like I said, like he finances the movie by himself.
Right.
He asked the people at his record label for like an advance. So it's like one of those things where he wants an advance on his record, so like they kind of own more of the
right. They own a bigger piece of like the royalties and all that.
Exactly.
And,
so then he finds Jerry Jones, played by Keegan-Michael Key, like you said.
Yeah.
And he's like a playwright who likes to write films and plays about the black struggle. And
very important. He wants like the important content in there. Yeah.
Right. I mean, they bond over the fact that they're both from Arkansas, and he convinces to write.
Was it Arkansas? I was thinking it was Alabama.
No.
Okay, Arkansas.
Because
Okay.
he said he was like from Verner and Rudy's from like Fort Smith.
Okay,
Arkansas.
so I got that wrong.
Yeah.
All right.
So then they start writing. So he starts writing the screenplay with Jerry and talks about how we should have pimps and whores and kung fu.
Right.
And
then he's like, we should have an exorcism in there because I guess the Exorcist had just come out or something. And
Right.
And he's like, where are we going to put in an exorcist? And he's like, no, we'll put that in a later film. And apparently they did do a later film.
Yeah, that's a reference to another movie he came out with called Petey Wheatstraw, The Devil's Son-in-Law. It's an insane premise. It's like he plays like a dude who gets like killed and 2 times by his friends, and he goes to hell. And then the devil, he makes a deal with the devil to send him back to heaven to kill all the people who killed him as part of revenge. And
so you've seen this movie?
I've read about it.
Oh, okay.
And then the devil says, "All right, I'll let you go back up and extract your revenge, but in return, you have to marry my daughter-in-law." And her daughter-in-law is you have to marry my daughter, and the daughter of the devil is very ugly and heinous.
Oh.
So he kind of
didn't see that coming.
Yeah, so he kind of breaks his deal with the devil while he's up there, and he goes back to Earth to kill all the people that killed him.
Sure. Okay. All right.
I mean, solid premise.
All right. And it's probably got titties and kung fu.
Titties and kung fu, of
Titties
course.
and kung fu.
That's a Rudy Ray Moore stamp of. That's a staple.
How many of his movies have you seen?
I haven't seen any of them really. I just read about them and like kind of watched them, like watch clips here and there.
I thought you'd seen the original Dolemite.
No, I saw parts of it. That one scene where they recreate the scene where he's like doing like the horrible bad kung fu kicking.
Right.
It's just as bad.
And and this is skipping ahead a little bit, but they start doing the movie and they're like, Rudy, do you know kung fu? And he's like, no, but I can pick it up. I'm a fast learner.
Yeah. Hoo ha he yeah.
and it's basically on the level of like the kung fu that Eddie Murphy pretends he knows how to do in the jail and trading places.
Very much so. So just imagine a man in his late 40s pretending to do karate.
Being played by a man in his late 50s.
Yes, exactly.
Pretending to do karate.
Very much. It's very like Steven Seagal-y.
Right.
It's like those type of moves.
And they also had to find let's see. They go to a strip club.
Yeah, and the director just happens to be there.
Right. He's like they go to a strip club and he's like talking to the strippers and he's like, "Hey, do you want to be in my movie?" And the strippers are like, "No, I'm not doing any porn.
I ain't gonna be in no porno."
So it's not going well.
Yeah.
And then they spot
Derville Martin.
Derville Martin, played by Wesley Snipes,
right?
Who's in the club, and they know him from his other work.
Yeah, he was in Black Caesar, Hell Up in Harlem, and he had the small part in Rosemary's Baby.
Yes, he because he talks about I worked with Roman Polanski and
but he was like the elevator operator,
which back in the 70s that was considered a good thing.
Yeah,
now not so much.
Not so much.
It's like we didn't know quite as much about Mr. Roman Polanski.
Yeah, it's like bragging you were in a Harvey Weinstein film back in the 90s.
Yeah,
like back then that was a good thing, and now
look, oh yes, thank you. How did we not ring that until now?
I don't know.
A little problematic bell. We got all caught up talking about the titties and kung fu.
I know, as you do.
As you do.
Yeah.
As you do.
But I really love the way Snipes played this character. He was kind of all over the place. It was a little over the top. It reminded me a lot of his character in Tu Wong Fu, like Noxzema.
Okay, I haven't seen Tu Wong Fu.
You haven't seen Tu Wong Fu?
I need to see Tu Wong Fu.
What?
I guess. Yeah,
it's good stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, like the way he plays Dervil is like very kind of over the top but hilariously so. And he asks him if he wants to be in. Then Rudy asks Dervil, "Do you want to be in our movie? You know, you have some clout. You can give our movie some clout.
Yeah, some cachet.
Yeah, that's the word, cachet.
Yeah,
and of course, Dervil's like, I have an agent. I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
but he also is like drinking heavily and stuff. And then Rudy's like, well, what if we let you direct it?
Yeah, you can direct it and co-star in it. And
Dervil's like, you got yourself a deal.
Sold.
That's right. So then he goes to his record label to ask for money. And he gets an advance on his royalties, but his label owns more of his album, which you talked about.
Right.
And so then what happens? They start filming. They find an old abandoned hotel.
Right.
And then just break in and then just start, it's like, oh, yeah, this will be
They are squatters, basically.
Yes, very much so. Like, I don't think they got, like, any paperwork done with the city in order to shoot here? No permits? Nothing?
But it's... I mean, this is where the movie really started to remind me of Ed Wood, which was another movie written by the same screenwriters.
Right.
Where it's just a group of friends. They're making a movie. They don't really know much about the movie business. They don't really know how to go about this, but they just have this blind enthusiasm for it. Yeah. They don't know what they're doing, but
it's full of a lot of heart and pluck.
Yeah. And it's an interesting thing of how I'll just call him Larry and Scott because the last name is very tough to pronounce. But Larry and Scott, they decided to do the Ed Wood movie because they were the screenwriters of the Problem Child movies.
Oh, they were?
Yeah, which were these movies about these kids comedy things from the early 90s.
Yeah, Jack Tripper was in it.
Yeah, John Ritter. John Ritter.
Show respect. Yeah. John Ritter.
John Ritter was in it, and he like adopted this horrible kid who was a problem child, and these were horribly reviewed movies. I think. Well, the first one must have done well enough because they did a sequel.
I think the first one did. I remember seeing the first one in the theater. I think it was pretty funny. But it didn't take much to amuse me back then.
But it was just savaged by critics. People were like, "This is the worst movie ever made," and all this. And so these guys decided, well, let's lean into this. Let's make a movie about the world's worst filmmaker, the guy who, because Ed Wood's film Plan 9 from Outer Space was voted the worst movie of all time. So they said, let's make a biography of this movie. And their take on him was like, well, he's at least trying.
Yeah.
He is trying. Doesn't that count for something?
Yeah, like he doesn't have the talent, but he has the heart.
Right.
Doesn't that count for anything?
Right. And
you monsters.
And there were like some scenes in this movie that kind of reminded me of that, where like you see Rudy, he's on the phone with the movie distributors. This is later on in the movie, but he's trying to get distributors to pick up and release his movie.
Right.
And they're saying, like, no, we're not interested. And it reminded me of that scene where Ed Wood's in the phone booth and he's like, worst movie you ever saw. Well, my next movie will be better. And,
there you go.
He does not, like, they just both continue on even in the face of all these signs that they should not.
Yeah, they carry on.
And there's something admirable in that.
There is. It's, just having just blind faith that you will... Your stuff will get better, and you'll go on, and it's a beautiful thing.
And you continue on,
blind enthusiasm,
even though you don't know better. Maybe even because you don't know better.
Right?
Because like if you knew more, you would know how impossible it is.
Yeah. If you knew how bad you were, you'd be way more depressed.
Right. Exactly.
But you don't.
Exactly.
And there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's there's your silver lining.
So there's something endearing. So that was kind of the start of how these screenwriters, they decided like, oh well, let's this be a thing we do. We tell these biographical stories of these odd people who were kind of on the fringe, and so they did Ed Wood, they did Larry Flint, they did
Andy
Kaufman, and and that's become part of their brand, and I find that amazing. That's so cool that they took like these not well regarded flop movies and they made it into their thing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
All right, well, no, back to the movie. So then they break into a hotel to shoot. They get a film crew from UCLA, like a bunch of film students that Jerry knows.
Yeah.
And, they're just like, the people ask, all right, so, like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we filming on? What was our type of film we're using? And then Rudy's like, whoa, we don't know anything about all that.
I don't know all that technical stuff. He's like, I don't know any of that stuff. You're going to have to handle all that.
Yeah, like film. Whoa.
Whoa, slow down, Einstein.
Technicolor. Whoa. And of course, they're, college students would probably do something like this just to do it.
Just for the experience.
Yeah. So they look around and say, hey, there's no electricity in this building.
And they're like, oh, well, we'll just climb up that pole and steal it from the building next door.
I wish I looked that up to see if that was actually true. Like,
I didn't see anything about that on the IMDb trivia or anything.
It probably was, but still, that's like, I don't know.
Even if it's not true, it should be true.
I don't know. Now I think about it, even if I was in college and somebody told me, oh, yeah, just go over there and steal it from across the street, I would have been like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do this job. I should probably go.
Yeah.
But no, they kept at it. And and also because Rudy's putting all his money into this film, he can't afford his rent in his apartment. So now he's sleeping in the rundown hotel.
Right. He's just like, make up the bedroom nice. I'm going to sleep there.
I was like, yikes. I mean, this is, I don't know what.
It is something. But there's some funny moments when they're making the movie. I liked when they were instructing the director of photography, the DP. They were like, you have to be careful because it's a young white kid who's doing this, and they're like, you have to shoot the people in this movie differently, the cast differently. Right. He says, because black people absorb light, white people reflect light.
Right. That's what the Derville said.
Yeah, Derville says that. He's instructing.
And that's something that Rudy did not even think about.
Yeah, and they had a thing where like an older white actor who's playing a character in the movie.
That was funny too.
He's talking to, was it Queen Bee? He was talking to.
Yes.
And he's like, oh well, I have lots of acting experience. I played a plantation owner in this. I played a lyncher in this, and I was a rapist in this. And she just says, so you just figured out what it is you're good at.
Like, all right.
And he's just, it's this friendly conversation, but it was very funny just because he's like, I played all these horrible people.
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. And it's a great scene. I got a kick out of that. Another scene I liked a lot because throughout the filming of the movie, we see that Derville's not really, his heart isn't in it. Like he's just kind of getting drunk and
he's just there and
and he's like
let's get through this thing.
Yeah, he really doesn't believe in it at all. And at one point he kind of badmouths the movie in front of the cast and crew, and then like Rudy, drags him aside and is like, "Hey man, don't do shit like that. I'm doing all this stuff and I don't have an ego about it. I'm like, we're using my money. Like
if we need sandwiches, I will go make sandwiches for the crew." And
it's like we're all trying to do a thing here.
Don't got to pull together and
And I like that scene quite a bit. It's like, that's Eddie Murphy's acting chops. It's like, damn, right there.
Yeah. Eddie did a really nice job in this. We haven't mentioned about his performance too much, but it's a great performance. I don't have too much more to say about it besides that, but he was great.
Yeah, it was very good. And there's a few other things here too. Like I looked it up and I saw a few of the scenes that they were filming in this movie.
Yeah.
They weren't actually in the movie Dolemite.
They mixed it up a little bit. Yeah. Some of the things from some of his future movies. I've got give me a minute and I'll find it on the IMDb trivia.
Well, one thing I saw was the sex scene, the big sex scene they had.
Yeah.
Where, he's having sex with a woman so hard that the ceiling comes down and the pictures on the
right. He is loving her so hard that the house is shaking,
making sexy time.
Right.
That's actually in a movie called The Human Tornado, which is the second movie.
Right. That was from 1976, so I think that was the second movie.
Right.
It's the police car chase that we see him shooting, Dolemite fleeing the house, the bitch are you for real scene, the exploding car, and the sex scene. Those are all from The Human Tornado.
Yeah. Because I looked it up, and I think the writers said they did that. They added in all these other scenes from other movies because they thought their thinking was, well, this will probably be the only Rudy Ray Moore movie that's ever made.
Right.
So maybe we should just put in all his greatest hits in this movie.
Yeah. And it also says Moore repeatedly saying, "Put your weight on it," and the main character in the play vowing to take revenge against a drug dealer are references to Disco Godfather, which was in 1979.
Yeah, so they kind of played.
So it's a mashup.
Yeah, they kind of played with the timeline a little bit here and there. Let's just make all of this. Just put all his best of and greatest hits.
And
in this one
that's
thing.
not uncommon. I know, like they did a little of that in the Andy Kaufman movie Man on the Moon too.
Oh.
Like they moved his show at Carnegie Hall. He did that sometime in the 70s, and they moved that to like around 1980 when, after Andy had gotten his terminal diagnosis, and they made it like this sort of triumphant thing. So, like, you do what you because real life it doesn't have a 3-act structure,
right?
So you have to kind of construct one because in real life people's lives have ups and downs and all that stuff, and so it might not always make a great story.
Right. I actually read that, and also another thing I saw is in the Bohemian Rhapsody movie, the one with Queen, like it has Freddie Mercury, Rami Malek, telling his bandmates that he has AIDS before they go do the big concert,
the Live Aid show.
Yeah, but I think in real life he didn't do that. I think
either
he didn't know or he didn't tell his bandmates like that. But I guess they just did that to make it
I think they also had him like calling his father, or he had some issue with his parents or something like that. And
they played up a lot of stuff for drama, like a lot of Queen aficionados.
And that's the thing that biopics do a lot. I mean, you just do it to make the best movie, and sometimes you gotta play with the truth a little bit.
A little bit.
Still titties and kung fu.
Yeah, you still get titties and kung fu, people. There you go.
I mean, so why are you complaining?
They bend the truth, but you get boobs and hayas.
Yeah, exactly. He's fighting off guys. He's throwing them in trunks.
Yeah. Blowing up cars.
Yeah,
it's a tit for tat.
And then Mike Epps is like, no, that's my cousin's
car.
My cousin's car. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'm sure they didn't blow up the car with this guy having no idea. I mean, I've never made a movie or never made a movie on that scale. And like, they're doing things like, they're surprised by things while the film is rolling. Like when they're shooting the sex scene, like they're surprised by the ceiling coming down. And it's like, well, how do you not see people preparing that?
I was thinking that. I mean,
but it makes for a funny scene. So
you're gonna have to suspend disbelief because I'd figure like if I was lending somebody my car, my eyes would be on it the whole time.
Right. I would watch for people strapping explosives to my car, and
it's like, hey, why are they guys putting? Why are they dousing my cousin's car in gasoline like that?
Why do you need a detonator for this scene? What is that C4 there for?
No, these are fireworks.
Yeah. Why are you putting that oily rag in the tailpipe and setting it on fire?
No reason. Hey, can I talk to you over here for a minute?
You want to watch for that stuff, is just what I'm saying.
Exactly. All right, so the filming's going along. They're getting by. Of course, that there hits a point where they run out of film, and they're not done. So.
Literally while they're shooting a scene.
Exactly.
And
there's no more film. So of course, Rudy has to go back to the label, ask for more money, saying, and then the label's like, well, you didn't account for this. You didn't account for editing and post and all the stuff you got to do. And it was like, no, I didn't.
Because again, he doesn't really know what he's doing.
He does not know. We can't emphasize enough. He does not know what he's doing.
No.
So the label's like, all right, we'll give you the money, but we'll pretty much own your
albums outright.
Yeah.
Like all the profits will go to us.
Yeah, and he's like, well, I'm going to bet on me. I feel like, people want to see this movie, so I'm going to do this movie.
God bless you, Rudy Ray Moore.
Yeah, I know. So then keeps filming it. Then they show the crazy scene with all the kung fu women, karate women, titties and kung fu.
Everyone is kung fu fighting. It is the song come to life.
As advertised.
Yeah. Those cats, they were, in fact, fast as lightning.
It was a little bit frightening.
It was expert fighting. Expert timing. Expert timing. That's it.
Yeah.
Blanking on my lyrics to...
Oh, I love that song. God damn.
That is.
All right, but so anyway, they filmed the final scene. Of course, the last scene is where Rudy fights Derval, who's the big bad guy, Willie Green, in the film. And, and I guess at one point, he's actually literally like ripping out his guts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I was like, all right, maybe I do need to see Dolemite.
Maybe.
There's a scene where he's literally ripping out a man's guts.
I haven't watched a movie where one man rips out another man's guts since I saw Machete. So I feel like I'm due.
And he ripped out the guts and he like kind of swung on it.
He like rappelled down a building.
Oh, yeah.
Go see Machete, guys.
Yeah, that was insane.
That is a cool because they were making that sort of in the style of the 70s grindhouse.
It's Machete-esque.
Yeah, it spun out of grindhouse, I think. So
exactly. So that was the final scene. Derville leaves, kind of disparages the film's like, yeah, I'll see you losers.
He's like, yeah, see you fuckers.
Yeah, this ain't never coming out.
And he's like, I'll see you all at the rap party. And then he leaves. He comes back in and he's like, yeah, I'm not going to the rap party. And that's the last we see of Wesley Snipes in this movie.
Classic Derville.
Which is kind of hilarious.
Snipes, I know, Snipes really steals some scenes in this movie.
He's funny. He doesn't have the biggest part, but he makes the most out of what he has.
He chews up that scenery like it's like covered in cheese.
And I haven't seen Wesley Snipes in a movie in forever.
It's been a minute. He's in and out.
Well, because he went away for a while.
Oh, did he?
He had some tax things.
Ooh.
Did you not hear about this?
I did not.
Yeah.
What tax? I mean, just out of curiosity, like what?
Wesley Snipes, he's had some troubles.
All right. So you have like taxes, like you have to like pay them.
This is what I hear. Yes. This is my understanding.
Yeah. I'm have to make some calls.
Yeah. You remember that movie U.S. Marshals that he did where he's being chased by?
Yes,
I believe that was based in fact.
Oh,
that was sort of like a prequel to his future troubles with the law.
That was a biopic. You said
that was like a biopic, but they made it like years in advance before.
How did they know?
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. But
life imitates art.
And by the way, if you're interested in Wesley Snipes, go find the interview that Patton Oswalt did with the AV Club where he talks about shooting Blade 3 with Wesley Snipes. He has some incredibly insane stories.
Oh, yo, is that the one where he was really upset with the director and then they had some weird thing?
Well, like apparently most of as much could be done by Wesley Snipes stand-in was done by Wesley Snipes stand-in in that movie. And Wesley Snipes would just like allegedly stay in his trailer, smoke weed, and just send Post-it notes to people with notes signed from Blade because he was very method.
Tight.
Because apparently Blade spends all day in his trailer smoking weed.
Of course.
And
more like Blaze. Am I right, guys? Am I right? Oh, hey,
yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. You can come find me at Darren Credible on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. He's a funny guy. I mean, come on. He came up with that Blaze joke off the cuff.
That was off the rip.
Off the rip.
What? Come on. I mean,
anyway.
Wow. I impressed myself.
Anyway, go read Patton Oswalt's stories about Wesley Snipes. You will not regret it.
Woo. All right, so what were
the movie?
Where the hell were we?
The movie is made. The movie is wrapped,
right.
And now he's trying to find a distributor. And so that scene I was talking about before, where he's still squatting in the hotel, and he's like calling distributors in one of the phone booths, and he's got a list, and nobody is interested in the movie, right. And then we have a scene where he's talking to a DJ.
Oh well, before that,
okay.
Slightly before that,
yeah,
because now he's in so much debt, he has to go back and do more stand-up and make more money and do...
Got to bring in the money.
Anyway.
He's that cheddar.
Yeah, but he's kind of half-hearted about it now just because the movie is done.
Yeah.
He really wants it to come out. No one wants it. So he's making as much money as he can on the road, but now he's worse off because now all the money goes straight to the label. So he's just like... He's basically working for free.
He's kind of lost his spirit at this point. He's despairing. He's, it's... And we have a scene where he's being interviewed by a DJ
in Indianapolis. DJ Bobby Vale, played by SNL alum Chris Rock. Hey.
And Chris Rock, who's like, hey, it's great to see you. I hear you made a Dolemite movie. When is that coming out? When can we see that? And Rudy is just like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know when it's coming out. I can't tell you when that's coming out.
And he's like, all right, let's go to a commercial.
And then they go to the commercial. They go to the commercial break, and then Chris Rock's like, "What the hell are you doing to me, man?
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm trying to support you. You can't even answer my damn questions."
Yeah, and then he's like, "Well, look, I wish I could tell you, but like nobody wants it. So I have it. It's done, but no one. So I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know when the movie's coming out." But he doesn't want to say that on air. He doesn't want to admit that he's
the one to admit defeat.
He's a failure or whatever. Yeah. And then Chris Rock is like, "Okay, look, was it his cousin?
His cousin.
He's like got a theater. He's We can set something up there. So he sets up this showing of Dolemite, and now it's the world premiere of Dolemite in the theater.
Right. Because he went to the cousin about the theater, and he's like, yeah, if you want, you pay me $500. You can show your movie here. We have you can show it at midnight on a Friday.
Right. He's like, I don't have a midnight movie going on Friday, and he's like, how does 500 sound? And Rudy thinks, oh, he's going to pay me $500 to show the movie. This is great. That sounds pretty good. And then he's like. And then the theater owner's like, no, you give me $500, and then you will get the ticket price.
You get all the door.
Yeah, basically. You'll get all the door.
All the box office. And he's like, oh, what about the popcorn and stuff?
And he's like, no, that comes to me.
So and he's like, oh yeah, we did it for like Grizzly Adams and Billy Jack,
right?
And it's like, yeah, I mean, if you promote it right and really hustle, you can make a lot of money,
right?
So Rudy,
so he takes the deal.
Yeah,
he takes the deal, and then he goes out there. He hustles. We see him out there. He's passing out flyers.
Yeah,
he's driving through the town with a megaphone out his car.
Yeah, like a Blues Brothers style.
Yeah. He's like the triumphant return of the Blues Brothers. And
yeah, he's out there shaking hands, kissing babies, passing out flyers to and fro, and midnight on Friday comes, and he's like, "I hope this works."
And this is like the point in the movie where we see him struggling a bit more. He's sweating to get it done. You know?
Exactly. Like it's pretty much him. Like he doesn't have his crew around because I guess he's in Indianapolis and everybody else.
That's true.
Everybody else is back in L.A.
Right.
And hope against all hope. It happened. People start showing up, and
the screening's a hit
in droves.
Yeah, and because he's got that cult following, and because he hustled and he got the people out there.
Yeah, and sure enough, like it makes a big splash, and it gets in Variety, I believe, and the people at Dimension Films.
Right.
Especially the head of Dimension Films, Lawrence Wollner, played by SNL writer Bob Odenkirk, takes notice.
I had no idea Bob Odenkirk was going to be in the movie. I was like, hey, Bob Odenkirk.
Bobby-O.
Better Call Saul.
Bob and Dave.
Bob and Dave.
Isn't that the show? Mr. Show. God damn it. What, with Bob and Dave. That's
with Bob and Dave.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
You look at me like I'm crazy.
I always look at you like that, though.
Oh,
yeah.
But
you're crazy.
Crazy. I'm so crazy.
But yeah, so they get this distribution deal, and it's going to be like nationally distributed, right?
Right. Yeah. So like when Bob Odenkirk, Lawrence Wollner sees that, oh wow, what's this film that's doing this well?
Yeah.
At a one theater in Indianapolis.
Right.
He calls up Dolemite, and Dolemite comes in with his people, his
he comes in character. They're all decked out to the nines, and all the others are like, Rudy, what do we say? And he's like, you don't say anything.
Yeah,
and you just be there. He's like putting on a show for these guys,
like
make him think he's a bigger deal than he is.
Exactly. So, and of course they bring up the fact that, hey, aren't you the same guys that like turned me down a while ago, but now that you see the movie something, now you want to be something?
Yeah,
and it's like, showbiz.
That's the game.
Showbiz funny like that.
That's the game.
And sure enough, it's like that now.
You got some heat. We want to be a part of that.
Oh, you got Twitter followers? Hey, come aboard.
Exactly.
And and they were like, and they basically were saying, yeah, look, we got all these. We could put your movie in all these theaters, and yeah, we turned you down back then, but we see you're doing stuff now. So then, like, to be honest, if you just do this by yourself, you got to go from city to city to city to make some money. We can help you with that right now. So what do you say?
Yeah.
And he was like, all right, let's do it.
And he's being like totally upfront. He's being totally honest. He's like, this is it. This is how the game is played.
This is the game.
Yeah. So
and and then sure enough, Dolemite is playing in theaters, and towards the end, like one of the final scenes, like they were off going to the LA premiere.
Right.
They're reading reviews.
And they read, and the reviews are not good. The reviews are pretty savage.
Not less than positive.
The first one they read is he says, Dolemite might be a better name.
That's good.
That's a good line, right?
It's not Blaze good, but it's good.
No, it's not Blaze good. I mean, it's they are not. They think of Dolemite like what Rudy thought of the front page earlier in the movie.
Yes,
they are that down. They are not down with the kung fu and the titties.
Yeah, which is I thought that was universal. Like, who doesn't love kung fu and titties?
I don't know. Horrible people dislike kung fu and titties.
Communists.
Yeah. And when titties do kung fu, I mean, come on.
I mean, my God.
That's the dream.
Kung fu titties. That's all.
Kung fu titties. That's going to be the name of our movie.
Damn straight.
When we make this movie, about Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon, it's going to be called Kung Fu Titties.
Get ready for it, America.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kung Fu Titties, the Matthau-Lemon story, the Lemon-Matthau story. I don't know which one got top billing typically, but we'll work that out.
Streaming on Netflix.
Yeah.
That's right. So get ready, people. Oh, boy. Apologies to the Matthau and Lemon estate.
Yeah. And apologies to titties out there.
No. Yeah. Sorry, titties.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all the reviews aren't great.
Do a little,
thank you.
Little that, yeah.
Thank you. All the reviews aren't great that they read, except there's one review where they say the reviewer is saying the movie is coarse, rude, crude, and vulgar.
Right.
And Rudy's more positive about that because it's like, oh, that's the great review. Because people are going to want to see what's so coarse, rude, and
they
vulgar.
want to see what the deal is. I mean, I got excited when at the beginning of this movie it said it had pervasive language, crude sexual content, and graphic nudity. I got excited to watch this movie. Because I was like, am I going to see some kung fu and titties? I think so.
There you go.
So,
Rudy knows what the people like.
He knows, he's got his finger on the pulse of what the people want.
Kung fu and titties.
Kung fu and titties. Kung fu.
Oh, boy, this is problematic as hell. Yeah. All right, so they get to the theater. They're kind of a little worried about what's going to happen.
They're like, are people going to come out? We don't know. I mean, the reviews are horrible. Is anybody going to come out? And they get to the theater, and it's a mob.
Everybody comes out.
It is a mob scene,
man. A
mob.
Oh!
Everybody and his brother is out there to see Dolemite.
Yeah.
Fuck up some motherfuckers.
Yeah, whoa.
Yeah.
Easy there, salty mouth.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But it's a huge scene. Like everybody came out to it. It's fantastic. And,
they get there to the theater and they're like, we're doing a 10 o'clock show and we're doing a midnight show. And we're going to have to do a 2 a.m. showing to accommodate all these people who are lined up to see the movie. And they come in, they get out of their cars, and there's a mob of people, and there's this young kid there who goes up to Rudy, and he's like, I'm your number one fan, man. I love you. And then they go into the movie, and people are like, hey, we got you some seats down front, to watch the movie. And then Rudy's like, he goes back, and he's like, no, you know what? I'm going to stay out here. These people are going to be waiting out here until 2 a.m. to see this movie.
Right.
I'm going to stay here with them. I've seen the movie. I don't need to be in there. I'm going to be out here with my people.
I don't need to see it.
Yeah.
I lived it.
Yes.
For those that don't know, that was from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Co-written by Phil Hartman.
Ooh, did he?
Yeah. I believe he co-wrote the movie. He co-created the Pee Wee Herman character. I think he wrote the first movie.
Maybe we could talk about Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Maybe we could.
Ooh.
We'll have to research that.
Because that movie is... Yeah. That left a mark on me.
That did? Okay. All right.
It was the worst accident I've ever seen.
All right. Well, no time to get into that.
I'm sorry.
We're in the home stretch.
I'm sorry.
Dolemite is out there with his people. He goes back and he talks to that kid and he gives him his cane.
Yeah.
And
he's like, oh, look at him.
Yeah, and they're doing like
they're rhyming back and forth.
It's almost like a rap battle.
It's
almost like a rap battle. They're going back and forth and yeah.
And that's how it ends. Like him up, which I believe he actually did in real life. Like he knew people were going to be up there till 2 in the a.m. So he's like, let me talk to the people and perform.
And again, it kind of reminded me of Ed Wood, where the film Ed Wood ends with the big premiere of Plan 9 from Outer Space, and Ed Wood is like, this is it. This is the one they'll remember me for. And I mean, it ends on that moment of triumph.
Yay.
For him, and which is what you want to see.
Yeah. And people love seeing the underdog succeed.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful thing.
Exactly. But this was fun. I mean, Eddie Murphy was great.
Yeah. I mean, the movie was dedicated to his brother, Charlie Murphy, which was very sweet.
Rest in peace, Charlie.
R.I.P. And Eddie Murphy.
Charlie Murphy, who you probably remember from Chappelle's show.
Charlie Murphy.
Darkness.
Whoa.
Darkness, Charlie Murphy. What,
dude, offensive.
Okay.
Whoa. Dude, I was fine with...
From the sketch.
I was fine with Kung Fu Titties, but I mean...
I apologize. I apologize.
It's all right. But
well, now I feel bad.
No, don't feel bad. It's fine. I was just fucking with you.
Okay.
I really was. But so I mean, everybody's saying this film is like Eddie Murphy's big comeback film, and
this is about his third comeback.
Yeah,
because he had a comeback with Nutty Professor.
Right.
He had a comeback with Dreamgirls.
Yeah,
and he's had a comeback. This is like at least his third, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Eddie Murphy, his career, it's just like if you diagram his career, it looks like an EKG monitor, you know?
Yeah.
It's just going up and down. And
is that medical talk? What, EKG
yeah.
monitor?
I think that's what it's called.
Okay.
You know, the thing with a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah, it's peaks and valleys. It's all wavy gravy. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see where he goes from here. But I mean, I don't know. I love this film. Strong performances all around. Snipes, Epps, Robinson, Burgess. It is all good stuff. This is a great film. And I also saw like a few other things like after, like if you look at some like YouTube videos that had like that roundtable discussion about the film. And it had,
I didn't see that.
They actually had like one pretty cool thing that I didn't know, but Snipes talked about how he actually auditioned to be in the original Coming to America.
Oh wow!
He auditioned for the part Eric LaSalle got.
Oh, the Soul Glow.
The Soul Glow, yeah, it was going to be him, but I think they said that he didn't get it because I think he looked too African, and I think they wanted somebody to look more African American. I think that's what he said.
Oh, would that be like mean he was too dark skinned?
Yeah, I think that's what they were saying. That's what they're alluding to anyway.
Right.
And then, but sure enough, he's going to be in the sequel coming to.
Oh, that's cool.
Coming
that's cool.
to.
Yeah, because this movie I read this was the first time that Wesley Snipes and Eddie Murphy worked together. But Eddie was a huge fan of Wesley Snipes, and this was the first time. So that's cool. It must have been a good working experience. And,
yeah, I mean they definitely knew about each other. They were like in the same circles.
Yeah. I'm sure they knew each other socially or whatever. And it says here both Wesley Snipes and Eddie Murphy have appeared in a Michael Jackson music video. Wesley, he's one of the guys in Bad.
He is?
Yeah, he is.
I haven't seen Bad in a while. Right.
Oh, you gotta watch Bad. Wesley Snipes is right in there, man.
You ain't bad. You ain't nothing.
That's right.
You ain't nothing.
Yeah, it's and Eddie appeared in Michael Jackson. Remember the
Time, the Egyptian.
I don't really remember that one.
You didn't remember that one? It was a big deal because it came on like prime time.
Right.
On Channel 5, like right after In Living Color. It was a big deal. It had like...
I was not paying as much attention to Michael Jackson by 92. Like, Bad, I remember. I remember the premiere of Bad, because that was like a short film, I think directed by John Landis, if I remember correctly.
Right, but Remember the Time was a good song. It had... Eddie Murphy was in it. I think it was Iman, the model, and Magic Johnson was in it, too. But it was like this whole thing where they were like... He was like an Egyptian pharaoh, and Iman was the queen, and... Michael Jackson was like performing, do you remember when we fell in love?
Okay.
It was a good little ditty.
All right. Well, I will check out Remember the Time if you check out Bad again.
I will check out Bad.
Yeah.
But,
and then of course you have to watch the Weird Al version, Fat.
Of course. I mean, that's
shot on the same set.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Weird Al, he does not half-ass this stuff.
No, he does not. He doesn't skimp.
He whole asses it.
Oh boy.
But
but yeah, I mean, I really like this film. I mean, I guess as a creative, I really like the kind of go-getter hustle part of it too. Because I mean, I think that part kind of hits all of us creatives, in the heart, in the feels. Because like I did notice when that movie came out, like a lot of fellow comedians and performers I know also said that they liked how that whole if no one gives you a chance, you make your own chance and like kind of sort of create your own lane and kind of that stick-to-itiveness. They really identified like what we're doing now with this podcast.
If your stand-up career isn't going anywhere after like 8 or 9 years, you're like, let's start a podcast.
That's right,
and get some more.
Shout out to KP Burke.
Yeah.
Whoa! I'm joking. That was a joke.
Whoa! I mean, he's not going to hear this, but whoa.
Yeah. Guys, no one tell KP Burke about what I said. I keyed.
KP is a friend of ours.
I keyed. What?
But I did like how at the very end of the movie, like they did that thing that you see in a lot of biopics where they give you a little text and it's like, oh, this is what happened to this person. And the last thing we see is just Rudy continued fucking up motherfuckers until the day he died.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, he passed away unfortunately in 2008 at the age of 81. So he lived a good long life.
But that is a great legacy to have. I mean, I want that. That's what I want to be said about me when I go.
You want that written in your tombstone?
Yeah. John Trumbull continued fucking
Like
on motherfuckers
till the
until
day
he
he
died.
did.
I don't think they're going to say that, but I think that would be cool if they did say that.
I'd be very surprised if they said that.
At my funeral, if you give the eulogy, you say that.
At your funeral, I will dress up as Dolemite in an afro wig with a army of kung fu titties by my side.
This is all I want.
Again,
This is all I want. Then I will feel like I've had a life well lived.
John Trumbull! Fucking up motherfuckers till the day he died.
Just for the confused looks alone.
Yeah, people are like, the hell is this? What? Is this what John wanted?
It is.
It
is. I am saying this for the record right now. This is what I want my funeral to be.
This is legally binding. So
You can play this right before or right after.
Oh, I will. Don't think I won't. I will. And the fact that he sort of created something for himself at in his late 40s, which a lot of people say if you haven't made it by the time you're in your 40s, it ain't gonna happen. But he was like, he had a dream, and also another thing that I didn't. I mean, that's what people say, but they don't mean us. We're gonna make it.
Right.
We're going to be the exception. We're going to be the Rodney Dangerfield of this.
Right.
We are.
We're going to be like the Grandma Moses of.
Yeah. Is that a comic?
No. She was a painter. Didn't start painting until like her 80s or something.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense. I was going to say Phyllis Diller because she started later in life too, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Or Lewis Black. He started late. I think he didn't start doing comedy until he was like 40 or something. So there you go. See. We still got time, baby.
There's still hope.
We still got time, baby.
There's still hope.
There you go. See?
There's still hope.
But yeah, so I mean, a lot of people say that you're not gonna make it at a certain age, but he throughout against all odds, he made something. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't like a mainstream guy, but he had like a strong underground following.
But
even that's
a cult
amazing.
Guy is an amazing accomplishment. I mean, having a cult following. I mean, that's something. That's not nothing.
Yeah, I mean, John Waters, he has a cult following. He made it too. The dude that did that movie, The Room, Tommy Wiseau. He's a weirdo. Made a weird movie.
Yep.
That got him somewhere. So there you go.
It did. Yeah.
Did you ever see The Room?
I have not seen The Room, and I have not seen the movie they made about The Room.
Oh, The Disaster Artist.
I've only seen like little clips of The Room.
The Room. It's
someday I'll sit down and watch it.
It's like a MST3K film. It's like
it's
like really bad acting, really bad dialogue, but it's not. But they're playing it straight. It's not meant to be bad, which makes it funny.
Well, nobody sets out to make a bad movie. I mean,
I guess.
Yeah,
we'll see. But we'll see. Kung Fu Titties comes out. We'll see. But yeah,
no, that's going to be a great movie. That's going to win all the Oscars.
I don't mean to disparage Kung Fu Titties. I apologize. I don't want to Derville Martin this.
Yeah.
No,
don't be a Derville.
Yeah, that movie's gonna take us to the top.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact that we forgot to talk about this in the movie, but they also talk about like his driving force as to why he wants to make it so badly. Mm-hmm. Like apparently he had issues with his dad growing up. He didn't have a very happy childhood, and there was like actually one very dramatic scene where he's talking to a picture of his dad, and he talks about how he left home when he was 15, and his dad was very abusive. But then I don't think he was his dad because at one point he's like, "Hey, he wasn't my dad anyway. He's just some dude just beat on me."
Right.
And like there's a very kind of powerful scene where he's like kind of screaming at the picture like, "You thought I wasn't gonna be shit, but you're the one that ain't shit. I'm Dolemite, motherfucker." Like you can tell he has like a lot of
pent up rage
and like just a lot of anger in him, and just
so why he wants to fuck up the motherfuckers.
Yeah, and that's where it all comes from, people.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the film. And
that's a film.
I dug it.
Good film, worth seeing.
Darn tootin'.
It's on Netflix. It's so easy to see.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
What else you got to do?
Yeah.
You bum.
What else do you have going on in your life?
You crumb
Nothing.
Bum. Nothing.
Sitting here, you're listening to this podcast for like an hour.
You crumb bum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do something with your life. Watch a Netflix movie.
Get your shit together. God. Seriously.
I am tired.
What the hell are you doing with your life?
We are so tired of carrying you. You make us sick.
Your mother and I have tried and tried and tried, and we are at the end of our ropes with you. Seriously. Seriously.
Get it together.
Get your shit together. Go out there and just fuck up some motherfuckers. That's all I'm saying.
Wow. You're like a motivational speaker.
That's I
You're the new Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
All right, so so that's the show, and guys, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. We are going to be back next week. SNL is back with an all-new episode. We're going to have Jennifer Lopez hosting and DaBaby as the musical guest.
J-Lo and DaBaby.
So that's something to look forward to. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be all right. Not too shabby.
I don't know if we're going to have any titties and kung fu, but who knows? Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. So join us, won't you? And if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Darren Credible, DARIN Credible. Oh, and actually, if you're in Howell, New Jersey, December 13th, Friday the 13th, I'll be performing at the Grange Playhouse.
Wow.
So, come on down.
All right. Are you going to go through town with a megaphone out your car and just hustle and get some more people there?
Yes.
That's what you need to do. So we got to learn from
Ladies and gentlemen. Darren Patterson, one time only at the Grange Playhouse.
Grand return.
Return.
And if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at Trumbull Comic. That's TRUMBULL. And please follow the show's page at SNL Nerds Show and tweet at us. And we're there. We will respond.
Yes, we are very
either on Twitter or here on the show, or maybe even both. Who knows?
Yeah.
You may get lucky. And just follow the show. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Tell your friends. That really does help. That helps boost us up. And that's it. And until then, nerds out.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer, Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.